Did you know that The Courier, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, is based on the true story of a British businessman recruited by MI6 during the Cold War? With its gripping plot and intense scenes, the movie leaves us wondering, just how accurate is it to the real story? Are we in for a history lesson, or just another Hollywood spin? In real life, Greville Wynne was a British businessman, not a secret agent like James Bond. He didn't wear fancy suits or have cool gadgets. Instead, he spent his days doing what most businessmen do, forging deals between different companies. Think of him as a matchmaker for businesses. He'd meet with big shots from various companies and charm them into doing business with the ones he represented. Now, let's talk about the movie version of Greville Wynne. Benedict Cumberbatch plays him, and he looks pretty suave in those fancy suits, doesn't he? But here's the thing. The movie jazzes up Wynne's character a bit. They make him look more like a spy than a businessman. Sure, he still does some business stuff, but the movie adds a dash of excitement to his life. So, in real life, Wynne was more of a businessman next door type, while in the movie, he's a bit more of a spy with flair. The truth lies somewhere in between, but hey, who doesn't love a bit of Hollywood glamour? Now let's talk about Oleg Penkovsky, Wynne's partner in espionage. In real life, Penkovsky was a Soviet military intelligence colonel. That's a fancy title for someone who knew a lot of top-secret stuff. He wasn't a superhero or a villain. He was just a regular guy doing his job for the Soviet Union. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how Oleg Penkovsky hooked up with the CIA and MI6. So, in real life, Penkovsky wasn't like, hey, let's meet up and spill some secrets. It was more subtle than that. He made contact by passing information to some American students in August 1960. Sneaky, right? Once the CIA and MI6 caught wind of Penkovsky's intentions, they were all ears. Now, in the movie, they might amp up the drama a bit. You might see some intense meetings and secret handshakes, but remember, it's Hollywood. They gotta keep you on the edge of your seat. So while the movie might dramatize the meetings, the core idea of Penkovsky reaching out to the West is spot on. All right, let's talk about Greville Wynne's globe-trotting adventures. In real life, Wynne wasn't just hopping on planes for fun. He was on a mission to smuggle classified documents out of Russia like a stealthy ninja. But here's the kicker. Wynne wasn't your typical spy. He didn't have a license to kill or a fancy code name. Nope, he was just a businessman doing his thing. In the movie, you'll see Wynne jet-setting between Russia and England like it's no big deal. But hold up. Did they get it right? Well, kinda. The movie shows Wynne as this smooth operator, rubbing elbows with Russian bigwigs and dodging security checks like a pro. And while he did have some serious skills, the movie might amp up his daring escapades for that extra thrill. All right, let's get real about the bromance between Greville Wynne and Oleg Penkovsky in The Courier. In the movie, they're like two peas in a pod bonding over secret missions and sharing heartfelt moments. But here's the question. Did their friendship play out like a buddy cop movie? In the movie, they make it seem like Wynne and Penkovsky were besties from day one. They're sharing jokes, swapping secrets, and having heart-to-heart chats like they've known each other forever. It's all warm and fuzzy, right? But hold up. Did their friendship go down like that? Well, in real life, their relationship was more complicated than a Hollywood script. Sure, they worked together and trusted each other with some serious stuff, but it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. Wynne was just doing his job, smuggling documents for the West, while Penkovsky was risking his neck to help out. They had a professional bond, suave, but it wasn't exactly a buddy comedy. Now, let's talk about Wynne's sneaky skills when it comes to slipping past customs. In the movie, they make it seem like Wynne waltzed through security like it was no big deal. But here's the reality check. Customs ain't no joke, especially during the Cold War era. In The Courier, Wynne's got this slick operation going on. He's flashing smiles, shaking hands, and charming his way past security checkpoints. It's like he's got a golden ticket or something. But let's be real. Smuggling classified documents out of Russia wasn't as easy as the movie makes it seem. In real life, Wynne had to be extra careful. He couldn't just stroll through customs with a wink and a nod. He had to be sneaky, strategic, and sometimes downright daring to get those documents out without raising suspicion. It was a high-stakes game of cat and mousey, and Wynne had to stay one step ahead to pull it off, which brings us to the leak. In real life, there was some serious drama going down behind the scenes. You see, there was a mole, a sneaky insider feeding secrets to the Soviets. Talk about a plot twist, right? So, picture this. Top secret information is slipping through the cracks, making its way into Soviet hands faster than you can say double agent. This leak had serious consequences, especially when it came to the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Soviets were up to some shady business, sneaking nukes into Cuba like it was nobody's business. Now let's talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis, the closest we ever came to nuclear war. Thanks to that leak, the US was clued in on the Soviets' sneaky moves in Cuba. It was like a game of nuclear chess, with the world holding its breath as tensions soared. In The Courier, they don't shy away from the drama. You'll see secret meetings, whispered conversations, and intense stares as the plot thickens. It's like something out of a spy thriller, with twists and turns at every corner. Now let's talk about the plan to smuggle Oleg Penkovsky out of Russia. In real life, it didn't go down like a smooth James Bond operation. Nope, it was more like a comedy of errors, with things going wrong at every turn. Despite their best efforts, the plan to sneak Penkovsky out of Russia was a bust. The KGB caught wind of their scheme and swooped in before they could make their getaway. It was a heartbreaking moment for Wynne and Penkovsky, who found themselves facing some serious consequences. But hey, we saved the best for last. You know how movies like to take some creative liberties, right? Well, this one's no exception. One scene that's pure fiction is the meeting between Greville Wynne and Oleg Penkovsky during their imprisonment. In real life, they were kept apart with no heart-to-heart chats like you see in the movie. It's like they took a page out of the Hollywood playbook and added a touch of drama for good measure. Now, let's talk about Benedict Cumberbatch's performance as Greville Wynne. The guy's got serious acting chops, no doubt about it. But what stands out are those moments where he brings Wynne to life with such depth and emotion. Take that heartfelt scene where Wynne informs Penkovsky about their contribution to easing tensions between the US and Russia. It's a real tearjerker, folks. In The Courier, every scene feels like it's packed with meaning, but some hit home. Like that moment where Wynne lays it all out for Penkovsky, telling him how their actions helped to prevent a nuclear war. It's like a love letter to Penkovsky, a thank you from the West for his sacrifice. And let's not forget about those intense moments where Wynne is caught in the crossfire, risking everything to do what's right. So how did the movie fare in telling the real-life story of Greville Wynne and Oleg Penkovsky? Let's break it down. When it comes to accuracy, The Courier does a pretty decent job. Sure, some scenes veer off course from the true story, like that fictional meeting between Wynne and Penkovsky during their imprisonment. But hey, it's Hollywood, right? They gotta add some drama to keep us on the edge of our seats. If you like this video, watch our other video next.